And that's why we said principle number 1 is patriotism. Love Uganda. Because Uganda is more useful to you than our tribal groups. If, for instance, you take the Banyankore group, they are cattle keepers. Some of them are here. They live in here. They live in most of the cattle corridor. And as we have advised you, that you must get out of poverty, you must get out of Ichan, and you must have Abara. You must be Abaran. So the question is, because we don't want to be part of a poor country. From the beginning, that's what we told you. Then the question is, how can people be Abaran? And that's why we analyzed and said, in order to create space for Abaran, we must emphasize Uganda, Pan-Africanism. If, for instance, you take one of the groups, the Banyankore, like these ones who are living here, how can they get out of Ichan and become a bar? The way they can do it is to produce milk, beef, and sell them. The ones in Ankole also produce bananas. But the problem they have is that this Munyankore has milk, and the neighbor also has milk. So the neighbor cannot buy from him, and he cannot buy from him, because they are producing similar products. The same with beef. And who are the people who buy the milk of the Banyankore? It is the people of Kampala who buy the milk, who buy the beef, who buy the bananas. So, and once Karamoja settles down, and you start selling beef in an organized way, you'll find that your cows are bought more by the people of Kampala than locally. So that's why we said, you people, you are talking of tribes and religion, but actually the one which can help you get out of problems is Uganda. Uganda will help you better than if you simply concentrate on your tribes. And you can analyze area by area. If you look at Baganda, where does the prosperity of the Baganda come from? All you Ugandans, when you come to Kampala, you buy from the shops of the Baganda. That's how Baganda get money. At one time, I quoted the example, I checked Lira. 18 buses were leaving Lira every morning, coming to Kampala. So those are langis. Each bus is carrying 80 people. And all those langis are bringing money to Kampala, because they don't come with empty pockets. They come, they pay for the bus. When they get here, they start spending. So that's why, after our analysis, we advised you that, you people, they tell you about tribes, they tell you about religion, but we think loving Uganda is the key to you getting out of poverty. So that became principle number 1, patriotism. You love Uganda. Why? because you need it. You need it. You need it for your prosperity. Then, after more scrutiny, we found that once we really sit down and become serious and start producing wealth, you will find that even Uganda is not enough. You may find that we need the East African market and the African market. And this one has already happened, because when your Banyankore people, these people you visited here, once they settled down, because they were like you, I will come to that issue. They were like you people, they were nomadic. For them, they were not violent fighting, but they were nomadic. But once they settled down, they listened to our guidance, and they started producing milk here in this area, Nakaseke, Chenkwanzi, where you went, Gomba, Chiboga, Sembabure, all those are areas, then Barara area, all those are areas where these cattle keepers stay. Once they settled and listened to our message, which was stop working only for the stomach, having milk only for the stomach. Because if you only work for archaic, how about the non-archaic needs? Because there are archaic needs, food, hunger, thirst. But how about building a good house? That's not archaic. That's something archaic, beyond archaic. How about dressing your family well? How about buying yourself a motorcycle? How about bringing electricity to your house? Even if electricity comes to Moroto, we are not going to put it in your house ourselves. You must put it there yourself. How about water? Even if the water is in the town there, you must put it to your house. So there are so many non-archaic needs. So if you want to live a good life, you must be able to solve the problem of archaic and non-archaic. And the non-archaic, you solve them by getting money, and you pay for the non-archaic needs. So what's this? So we told them that you people go from don't look after cows only for archaic. Look after cows for archaic and money and the pocket. Those cows, if you only look at them as for archaic, for getting milk for drinking, you are not helping yourself. But if you look at them as factors for archaic and pocket, you hear, if somebody is selling 900 liters per day, that's quite a bit of money. And when you visited them, you saw how they live. There in Karamoja, we are arresting these fellows for stealing your mabati, which we had given you free. But those families you visited, you found they had their own permanent houses built by themselves, not by the government. The government doesn't give mabati to all those families. They build them themselves because they have the money. And in fact, during the campaign, when I was campaigning here, these people gave me 800 cows. Instead of me giving you the money, they were the ones giving me cows, which I took to the government farm. So once those people woke up and started producing milk, the milk production jumped from 200 million liters a year to now 5.4 billion liters a year. That's what Uganda is producing now. Now, within Uganda, we are drinking only 800 million. So there is a surplus of 4 billion liters of milk. So the question is, where do we sell this milk? What do we do? And what is true of milk is also true of maize, because although you are still running up and down there in Karamoja, some of the other areas are producing a lot of maize. And our maize production has gone from 200,000 tons to now 5 million tons. And within Uganda, we consume only 1 million tons. So there's a surplus of 4 million tons. Then you got sugar, the same. When you were coming here, you saw the sugar production in the Kachira area. Sugar production has gone to 700,000 tons now. Within Uganda, we are consuming only 320,000 tons. So there is a surplus of almost 400,000 tons. So where do we sell all this? What do we do? That's why the NRM had long ago told you that you people, after loving Uganda, you need to love East Africa. You need to love Africa. Why? Because you need them for your prosperity. If you wake up, you will find that the internal market of Uganda is not enough. You need the African market. So that's why we told you that our second principle, we are not here looking for politics to get jobs. No, we are here to show you the way forward of how you get out of your problems. And of course, we are part of you. So that's why, therefore, the second principle is Pan-Africanism. You love Uganda because you need it, but you also love Africa because you need it. If you do not love Africa, you will not move. You will move a bit and get stuck. So where would we be selling our milk now? If you find the milk is going to Kenya, to South Sudan, to Congo. The other day I had military students from Zambia, and they told me that what we know about Uganda is the powdered milk from Uganda. The powdered milk has already gone to Zambia. So therefore, these principles, this is like a hospital. NRM is a medical organization. Where we say, what is your sickness? We look at you, open your mouth. And we say, you are suffering from this. Your disease is Ichan. And you are suffering from Ichan because you are only working for Akoik. And you have not learned how to work for the Akoik and the pocket. And you have got, of course, in the case of Karamoja, you have got additional complications. Violence, what. But the other Ugandans, like where Seku comes from, you know those people in Parisa, Budaka, they speak a language like Runyankore, but they speak it in a funny way. So when I went there and I said, what do you call working for the stomach only? They said, Okora echida chonka. It is the same like Runyankore, but they do it in such a rude way that I liked it. Because instead of saying stomach, they said stomach, this ichi kitumbo. That's how they say it in their language. So even in other parts of Uganda, they also have the same problems of being blind, not knowing what disease they are suffering from, and what is the medicine. So that's how our second principle becomes Pan-Africanism. The third principle, and I think this is the one which brought you here, is what we call socio-economic transformation. We said, but in order, so for us, who see far, we advise you concentrate, instead of saying Buganda, Karamoja, Teso, this other group, Megwa, Acholi, we say, please, if you want to get out of problem of poverty, emphasize Uganda, Pan-Africanism. But secondly, Uganda will not be enough, emphasize Africa, Pan-Africanism. But then, you cannot take advantage of the Ugandan market or take advantage of the African market if you are still in the traditional way, if you are still in the traditional way. If you are still in the traditional way. The Banyankwere were having their traditional ways. But we told them that if you continue those traditional ways, you are not going to get out of poverty. So that's why, therefore, principle number 3 becomes socio-economic transformation. You must be a new person. You cannot have a peasant producing another peasant, and you think you are doing anything. You cannot have a warrior producing another warrior. And I can tell you, if you go to Kaguta's place now, Amos Kaguta, my late father, there are no longer peasants there. Kaguta was the last peasant. Was the last traditional, because some of these traditional people are actually rich people. Kaguta was a rich man, but rich in a traditional way. But he would have cows and so on and give to his sisters and so. But where is the money? You find the money is not so easy to get. Land, cows, but no money. So, in my family, Kaguta and his 2 wives were the last traditional people. But my mother was no longer so traditional. She had become like a bit enlightened in the church, through the church. So therefore, this is what we want for you. Because I don't want the Kaguta family to change, but the other Ugandans remain behind. This one I cannot do. Because I'm also looking forward to going to heaven. Now what will happen when I go to heaven? And God says, you man, your family changed, but there were other Ugandans whom you did not tell. I will say, I told them, but they refused. I will tell them. So therefore, that's why we said that the third principle of the NRM must be socio-economic transformation. And what are the channels of transformation? There are 2 channels. One channel is education. Education. That's why I'm glad you are talking about education. And that's why we introduced UPE long ago. But your people have been resisting it. Your headmasters, your board of whatever they call them, they're the ones who have been reintroducing school fees in the government schools. Otherwise, from 1996, we wanted the children to study free because we knew this was one channel where socio-economic transformation could happen. The second channel, even if you are not educated, even if you are not highly educated, but you go from working for Akoik only, and you work for Akoik and the pocket, you still change. You become a new person, even if you are not highly educated. Yeah. So we don't have to wait for you to finish university and come. No. Even now, because like my father, although he was traditional, but when we introduced commercialization of milk in 1989, he changed. He started producing for the market and started getting money monthly, in fact daily. So that's the second way of socio-economic transformation. The fourth principle is democracy. That one is, I think, clear enough. But now, coming back to principle number 3, socio-economic transformation, we told you that there are 4 sectors where you can go and become transformed socio-economically. Sector number 1, commercial agriculture. Stop agriculture of just eating of Akoik, go for agriculture of Akoik and pocket. The second sector is industries, factories, like the ones we are bringing to Karamoja. You have seen them. The cement, the what, they are coming. Or like the ones you see in Kampala here, or the ones you are going to see in Kapeka when you pass there. This is the third sector of socio-economic transformation. Because if you join those, you are no longer the traditional. The third sector is ICT. Not ICT, services. If you own a hotel, you own a bus company, boda, those are services. You earn money, not through agricultural production, not through industrial production, but through providing services which are paid for by the society. And then the fourth one is ICT. ICT is a new sector which came recently, the one of computers and so on, and internet. It's a new one. You can be there, you can be in Moroto, and you are an auditor. If the internet is there, you work with a company in Canada where you audit their books and you send the work you have done over the internet, and they pay you when you are here in Moroto or Mbare or Jinja. So that is the fourth sector. And we told you this very clear. The other time I made a countrywide tour, and I distributed booklets called 4 Sectors and 7 Activities. This is what we have been telling you. So other people come and tell you this, but there is no other way. Unless you join one of these 4 sectors, there is no way you're going to. Yes, there is a fifth one, public service. Public service. But the problem with public service, the jobs are limited. There's one Gombora chief. So what do we do? Unless the one who is there dies, we don't have. We can't get another job. The Muruka chief is one. The chairman LOC 3 is 1. So these are there, but they are few. If you take all the public service jobs, all of them, including the army, I think there are 480,000 jobs in a population of 46 million. So even if you assume that each one has got 5 people at home, each of the 480,000, that's like how many? Like 2 million people who benefit from public service. So public service cannot solve the problem of each one. What can solve the problem of each one are the other 4: commercial, agriculture, industries, services, and ICT. Because there's no limit. The number can go on. The only limit will be the market. That's why we saw long ago, so for us, we are not only going to, don't tell us about the tribes, tell us about Uganda, because we need it for our prosperity, but we also need Africa, because we knew we needed a bigger market. And with Africa, we can negotiate for other external markets to Europe and to America and so on.